this opportunity, Madam Speaker, as he seeks to obey your directive to find out, because I have seen a notice in the newspapers today announcing several NRM meetings. And we are lucky we have a former CDF, General Moores, who is also a minister for law and order. The last time we had a major NRM activity in Kampala, one of the new NRM reach the ghetto, robbed the people on the street. Can we get assurance that these meetings we have seen announcing, at which you are going to display various NRM regions, that that region will not rob our people, those of us, our people work in Kampala? Or we should ask them not to be coming to Kampala, that can the minister responsible for the law and order assure the country that that newly created NRM region called the ghetto youth will not rob our people in Kampala like they did last time?
Thank you. How did NRM?
They were putting on the perennial NRM candidate for President, Yoweri Museveni's T-shirt with his portrait clearly seen.
Assuming it was another party putting on that T-shirt.
That's why I am asking the minister responsible. I'm not asking the speaker because I know the speaker is not
I
in
want
charge
a
of law and order.
clarification. Before the minister comes in, does it mean that if I put on a particular color, that I belong to that party?
Madam Speaker, there is a minister responsible. So I want to hear him say that they were a PFF.
Honorable members, things. Putting on a color does not mean that I belong to that party. What security should do is to investigate who are these people who are causing that problem. Who are those people? But just putting a blank statement that they were NRM, that is an attack on, you're speculating actually. Honorable Minister, the honorable member is asking, are we secure with the people? I don't want to say they were NRM, with those people who were terrorizing.
That these activities will be peaceful. But also, like you said, Right Honorable Speaker, a T-shirt per se of whatever party doesn't mean that you belong to that party.
Clearly, near microphone. Oma, you talk about the lady.
For some meeting, I saw on the screen, he is still being referred to as FDC. Yet, he joined the NRM. So the procedure issue I'm raising, this is a, Madam Speaker, this is an electioneer. If I have changed the affiliation, you actually affect my chances of winning when you continue referring to me by my former address. It is not possible that you will continue calling Anthony Akol FDC when he's NRM. I am PFF. You cannot call me FDC, I left. Is the intention of those who continue doing that, is their intention to make us fail elections, Madam Speaker?
I am concentrating on the debate, and I'm surprised for you, you're concentrating on the screen. So let's mean business, let's discuss more important things that affect this country than looking at the screens to see what is coming out. Yes, government. There is a Minister of Water here, there is Minister of Health here, there is I can see all the ministers.
Of extortion by NERA staff in the ongoing National Identity Card enrollment and renewal exercise. This statement has been uploaded last minute. Hopefully members have it. And I beg your permission to proceed with the response.
Please do.
Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, NERA began the mass enrollment and renewal exercise on 27th May 2025 and as of 4th August, we have received 8,254,778 applications for renewal, 834,020 applications for first-time registrations, and 33,160 applications for Get First ID for children who are now of age to receive their identity cards. This together is a total of 9,121,948 applications. Card production and issuance is also underway. That said, Right Honourable Speaker and members, NIRA has noted with concern the increasing complaints on extortion, corruption and bribery at service centres perpetuated by imposters, NIRA registration assistants and other cadre. The Vice has taken the following common forms. 1, selling forms. 2, paying to skip the queue. 3, extorting at different stages of the application process by different players. NIRA has taken the following steps to address this menace. 1, arresting and reprimanding the perpetrators and invoking disciplinary procedures, and below is a list of persons so far reprimanded. In Mubende District, serial number 1, we have Tulibamu, a temporary assistant, registration assistant. Action taken against him. He was arrested. He's out on bond and is terminated. Can I proceed and finish that? Then you can answer your questions. Honorable members for that observation. I was at the action taken, starting with Mubende District. Some staff of NIRA have been arrested, starting with one called Tulibamu, a temporary registration assistant, arrested, out on bond, and his services terminated. 2, Sempebwa, another temporary registration assistant, arrested, out on bond, and terminated. The third one, Naruiso, temporary registration assistant, arrested, out on bond, and terminated. Nuwaine, temporary registration assistant, arrested, out on bond, terminated. District Mitiana, Lutaisire, temporary registration assistant, arrested, out on bond, and terminated. Wakiso, Epalat, temporary registration assistant, suspended, and later terminated. Mukono, Wamala, temporary registration assistant, suspended, then terminated. Headquarters, here at Kololo, Kasasira, temporary registration assistant, arrested, escaped from detention, and terminated. Vusia Ojambo, information technology officer, arrested, taken to court, and out on bond and on interdiction. Aleptong Hateu.
Out of bond, out of bail.
Ma'am?
Taken to court, out of bail.
Out on bond. I will explain later, ma'am, why they are on bond, because the complainants don't come back to give evidence for prosecution to take place, but I will explain later.
No. What I am saying, if it is you're out of court, they give you a bail from court. Is it out of police bond?
Bond, ma'am.
Okay.
It's taken to court and is on bail, not on bond, and is on interdiction. Chakua Nzi Chankwanzi. Nabuguzi, information technology officer, arrested, taken to court, remanded, and also interdicted. Chotera, a number of them have been arrested, 4, bonded, investigations continue. This is Nantongo, Samula, Chiseka, Ayesga. One of them, Chiseka, is a businesswoman. She's not NIRA staff. And then Adim, Mwanje, information technology officer, under disciplinary process. We are strengthening internal and external communication across all media platforms, emphasizing free registration and encouraging people to report corruption and advising all persons to desist from corruption. 3, providing forms being sold free of charge. On that How to get the form is included in the report, https://nira.go.ug. Some of these forms are the ones being sold, yet they are available free of charge online. 4, providing an online service that does not require one to have a physical form, also on https://preg.ncis.nira.go.ug/pre-registration, and that one is also available online. 5, sharing with the public a hotline for reporting corruption, and this is number 0776-501-071. And also sharing an email address to assist victims detail the issues they have faced during the exercise. To date, we have received 30 complaints via this email address. Number 7, distributing uniforms with identity tags across the country to ease identification of bona fide NIRA staff. Some challenges have been encountered, and these include the following. Clients not willing to disclose the full details of extorting staff and accompanying evidence. This makes cases difficult to prosecute. For example, in Kasanda, the RDC was informed by the complainants about people extorting. He caused the arrest of 2 NIRA staff and 2 non-staff. They were arrested, taken to Kasanda police station for 1 week, but no one reported to make a statement and lodge a formal complaint. They were released on bond, awaiting the complainants coming forward. 2, brokers and middlemen masquerading as NIRA staff to extort from the public. 3, partners supporting the exercise over whom the authority has no control, including local council chairpersons and others soliciting for bribes under the pretext of being NIRA staff. Oftentimes, these act as brokers. Number 4, the literacy levels of some of the clients who are unable to read and write and therefore seek services from middlemen. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker and members, this is to reiterate that the process of enrollment and or renewal of national IDs is free of charge. We call upon the public to be vigilant and to be bold to report whoever is trying to extort from them. Together, we can get the culprits. I beg to submit.
Has been given to the public for them to be able to report these cases. And we also need to encourage our members, the population, that in case there's anybody who is extorting money, we should be able to report for them to be handled legally. And then maybe to the public outside there, registration is free of charge. Yes, Honorable Baka Blindi.
Leave apart hours which we were for renewing. That one we don't know when we shall ever get our national ID. But how about the new entrants? If we could comment about the speed so that we get hope. You can say for somebody who is being introduced who has gone to Kololo, it will take about, say, 2 months, and somebody will wait for 2 months. But now we don't know when. You just stay without knowing. I wish the minister could help us on that.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, you will also tell us, for those who registered at the beginning, when do they receive their IDs? Yes.
Speaker, I also want to bring to the minister's attention that the drop or the slow pace of renewal of national IDs is not necessarily as a result of extortion. I'll give an example in my area and our district as Omoro. Most people are not turning up for renewal of their national IDs because they have deposited their national IDs with money lenders. Because if you are to come for renewal, you need to come with your national ID, the expired one. So most people are not doing that because they have deposited their national IDs with money lenders. So I think the ministry needs to do something. The president was very categorically clear that no national ID, no money lender should accept national IDs as collateral.
Actually, that is outside the scope of what we asked the minister to present. Because if you've deposited your ID with a money lender, what do you want?
IDs.
Yes, Speaker, for the opportunity. And I also want to thank the Minister for giving us that report. Madam Speaker, coming from the islands, allow me to speak about the islands in regard to the National ID renewal. Most of our people have not accessed this because of, I think, the distance between the islands. And when it comes to extortion, Madam, excuse me. When it comes to extortion, this one in our islands comes in a way that people have to travel from one island to get to where these kids are. And they are asked to give in some money. They say, if we cannot access you, give us money such that we can get to where you are. So they say the office has not given them enough money to travel from their office to go to where the people are.
From one island to the other island.
And
so,
some,
Minister, you need to make sure that these people reach to the local person down there.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. There's information from Lucy.
Big problem, Madam Speaker. Over the weekend, I was in a place called Okidi in Atiak sub-county. I got a request from the community that I should help them hire a generator so that the officers from NIRA can go closer to the people and register, especially the older people. When I accepted, they said, no, it is not only for old people, even us, the distance is very, very, very big for us. So this is a very big challenge, not just for the islanders, but also for those of us who represent rural districts where there's no electricity and the distances are really, really big. So, Minister, you should really consider this because there's poor facilitation to these people.
Thank you.
People who are extorting money from the people who come for registration. I'm glad he mentioned some of the officials from Wende that were arrested over the same, but we need to go beyond the NIRA staff. Right, Honorable Speaker, the other case is about hard to reach areas. For example, we have a sub-county called Utologu.
Honorable Grania.
Yes, right.
You're talking about dealing beyond the NIRA staff. That's why the minister is saying some people don't want to give information. You see, there was a business person arrested. There was a medic who was arrested. Who is doing what?
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, whenever good enough disguise themselves or misidentify themselves to be in those, ensure that the people who work in those offices also do the needful. Right Honorable Speaker, just a minute about the hard to reach areas like Utologu. There are areas where people, whether the budget we give to NIRA to do that registration does not cater for the generators and has mentioned. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable Ramlicha.
Montoroko, which borders the DRC. And in this exercise of renewal, the Honorable Speaker, we've had a challenge where people have been tossed here and there because people have got national IDs. These are Ugandans with national IDs. But when they go for renewal, they keep disturbing them. Go back to Giso, go back to Diso, whereas these people had national IDs and the Ugandans. And I don't know, the Honorable Speaker, how these people should be disturbed and tossed here and there, go to Diso, go to the RDC, go to PISO, whereas these people go to national IDs. For instance, if people have come for the first time, those people should be vetted. But people who have had national IDs are being disturbed. I don't know, the Honorable Minister, what are we going to do in case of Ontoroko? We've gotten people who have been disturbed and they have failed to renew their national IDs because of those technicalities of some of their staff members. I want to thank you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you. Olympian.
I would want to comment on the beautiful report Honorable Minister made. My question, Honorable Minister, or the clarification. Yesterday I went to renew my ID at Kololo because my ID is going to expire in 2031. and I was sent back that I do not need to renew. I bet it's the same thing is happening to all Ugandans. Do we have to renew when it's still valid or not? Because this is one thing which we would like to know. I think the whole country, they're willing to know. Thank you.
My concern, Madam Speaker, the reason as to why a number of our people are being exhorted in dubious deals. Madam Speaker, we still have some places in our country. At any point, I have a sub-county in my constituency called Bukiende. It doesn't have even a single mast. So whenever these workers are dispatched to Gandhi, rejects of the network challenge. So I want to hear that from Minister of Internal Affairs, okay, whether he has taken cognizance of that.
Okay, Peter.
Thank you. Right, to really help us, because like my colleague from Kalangala stated, that moving from one island to another, for example, moving from Lolwe sub-county headquarters to Hama, Siro, or Wayasi, these people need fuel, but they are not facilitated. That one is a serious issue. Secondly, a case of Namaingo, you find that these people, you have stated in the statement that they have uniforms they wear to identify them. I have not seen any. Was it in isolated places or it is countrywide? And then finally, I would like to know from you, Minister, about Ojambo who was arrested in Busia, and you stated that he is on bail. In fact, Ojambo's case was a serious case, and I wanted to know and you to tell the country that what was the cause of arrest of Ojambo, and then what steps have been taken, because people were there, they gave their statements, and to date, it has not been handled. Thank you.
Many more cases, even murders, defilement, rape, where people fail to follow up because of the lukewarm trust they have in some police officers. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, another important aspect about the IDs. Right Honorable Speaker, for example, I have got a cousin sister who is now 86 years. She has got a daughter who is 57, and the 57 girl or daughter has got an identity card. But my elder sister, who is 86, has got an identity card reading 35 years of age. And when you go to, I have taken many people to the district headquarters at the NRM offices. People, and the problem, Right Honorable Speaker, we as MPs, being ATMs of some communities, people who have missed on the money for SAGE, they say, you pay us that money because we qualified to be 80 years.
Right Honourable Speaker, I'll start with the one of Honourable Viraro. Errors, and I think there's another honourable member who raised the same. Errors, especially by NIRA staff, and especially now to do with old people. Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Viraro, allow me to go back and work on this and report to you in particular, Honourable Viraro. I would want further and better particulars of the case so that we follow through. Because if it is NIRA staff, then it's up to us to correct the error. But if it's an error by the person, the client, who made the error while registering, that's why I think there's even a charge, because you made an error, and it's up to you to rectify it, but you need to go to the headquarters. Unfortunately, we don't do correction at the district centers in this exercise. And then the islands people, fuel, logistics are all provided. This parliament provided money for this exercise. So there's no excuse at all while islands or other hard-to-reach areas are not accessed. The Honourable from Busia talked about uniform. I said uniforms are not there now, but because we need to identify people, that's why we are going to issue uniforms to NIRA staff with tags for ease of identification of those who extort from the public. Case, he's on bail, but he's also interdicted. but we don't have the case fully dealt with. He was taken to court and released on bail. He was charged and released on bail. That's what I can say about Ojambo. Places without internet, distances, I think we need to make a clarification of the whole process this far, because you've raised a number of things. Some of them we can rectify immediately, but some, like those places without internet, we need to get stopgap measures, but share the same with the public on what alternatives we have for places without internet, and especially for old people who can't move up and down. Then the Honorable Achon, your ID is still valid, yes, up to 2031. But since the new ID has more features, enhanced features, including the iris, you still can apply to change. There's that provision.
Is it can or you should?
You may, Right Honorable, but if you want to remain with your valid ID until it expires, you can do so. But if you choose to change to the new one, you are allowed. I don't know why they pushed you away. Honorable Achon, I'll assist you to have your features taken for the new ID. And yes.
We had an opportunity of taking these IDs, all the data from here. But could the minister explain to this House, what's the timeline of releasing and issuing out these national IDs? Because by the time you came here, you had promised 2 weeks. Now they are over a month.
He's going to respond to that. He's responding point by point. He has not reached there.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for being very good.
Of the national IDs. Right Honorable Speaker, I am a Ugandan. And when you give me expiry of a national ID, say for example 10 years, does it mean that you have only given me 10 years to be a Ugandan and so I might have to change or what? Because I am born here, I am from here, and I expect that at least the national ID should be open so that we don't bother people. And this exercise should not be optional for us to say that we are going to renew the IDs, and for those who have IDs that have expired. It should have been a national exercise for everybody, and we shift from where we have been to now the new system so that the IDs are uniform. Taxpayers' money should be used in the right way. Right Honorable Speaker, that's the clarification I would like to seek, whether after 10 years I will cease to be a Ugandan.
As I explained earlier, this issue is universal practice. And the assumption is that in 10 years, your features change. But I understand, and that is the sentiment shared by many people. Even the cost of renewal is not affordable, I think, for the country. So maybe as we get more access to smartphones, as we get more access to the internet, we shall reach a day when we shall just scale up the features online. I agree it's disturbing 10 years, every 10 years to spend all this money to renew, but the assumption is that in 10 years, features of a person change. In 10 years, the ID itself, the paper ID, degenerates. But we want, hopefully, to go to the e-ID and even the e-passport when all the conditions are conducive. If I may, I want to go to the other questions and then I wind up. Honorable Remuikia, people on the border tossed around, yet they have old IDs. We shall work on that one and sort it. The Honorable Nakaziwe, you don't need to pay money for these people to access you because money was given for the exercise, including generators and all those excuses that people have been making for not coming to the people to register them. Honorable Akelo Okibi, I think we shall review the exercise and the constraints this far and then make a general statement to the public, especially regarding hard-to-reach areas. Honorable Nachimuri, I think I answered that one. Honorable Court, money lenders have IDs. IDs are not collateral. We have talked about this, and it takes two people to make this mistake. The card holder, but also those money lenders. Both are culpable. So we want to, with the help of leaders like you, Honorable Court, if you know, some of our people I think are vulnerable because they don't have anything else to stake in order to get loans. That's unfortunate that they reach an extent of giving the IDs. But I think we need to take it together as leaders and get those IDs from the money lenders for their people to have them renewed during this exercise. If you can help with further and better particulars so that we follow up, because it is illegal to hold somebody's ID as collateral for a loan. Speed of issuance of cards. Initially we had a hitch, but now card issuance is ongoing. We had a hitch because this exercise has been between USPC, which was given the contract for cards, and then another contractor for the software. The software was more advanced than the card aspect, but the card aspect is also catching up, and we have got cards, but there are protocols for filling the information from the software to the cards. That's why we got a delay, but so, hopefully... Honorable
Minister, when you acquired the software, couldn't you get to know that there's compatibility?
Compatibility is there, but the availability of the card, ma'am, was a little bit delayed. The money was paid, but we delayed to get the cards to be concurrent with the software. But we have corrected the anomaly, and card issuance will be faster. Hopefully, not beyond 2 months going forward. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members.
I want to appreciate the Minister for the report. Right Honourable, there's a statement that the Minister made and said that some staff were arrested and terminated. I expected him to have given us a reason or a confirmation that before the termination of those officers, some confirmation was seen that they extorted the money. Because for purposes of the record, we needed that. Madam Speaker, in Kumi District, we have categories of children who have not got their names.
Honorable Christian, they were arrested, taken to police. Police did the investigation, sanctioned to be taken to court. Some of them are on court bail, others are on police bond. And it is based on that report that an action was taken. If you heard very well how the Minister was explaining.
Much obliged, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable, who had problems with their names and dates of birth, and they applied to NIRA. That time they were supposed to get the current IDs that we are having, but they were not successful. Could we have information from the Minister on the way the Ministry is trying to see how to help that category of the students and other people who had mistakes in their IDs that they have at the moment? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Concerns the issue of people who had errors, who made errors in their IDs. The Minister stated that there are cases where the errors were made by the staff, the NIRA staff, and there are errors that were made by the applicant. The clarification I'm seeking is, how are you able to determine which error was done by who, either the applicant or the NIRA? Because, for example, I have a relative, he's Masaba, but they spelled it as Masabo. Instead of A, they put an O in the name, but he was made or forced to pay that money in order to change these names. So I want to know how they're able to determine, because as far as I know, everyone who is trying to change any detail on their national ID is being forced or is being made to pay this money, which is quite huge.
Thank you. Honourable Minister.
To the last one, there are some unscrupulous people who change their dates of birth, especially civil servants, just because they don't want to retire. That's one deliberate mistake we note in the exercise of registration. And then there are people who, today they write their parents are A, then tomorrow they say they are B. Really, that one cannot be NERA staff. So those are examples of the mistakes of the applicants. But for the names, that one I think it's most likely by NERA staff, honorable member. So we shall correct that one. Yes, Honorable Wakabulin, just a minute, I wanted to, okay, Honorable.
Minister, you become a speaker. Can you, then you come in.
Honorable.
You just sit near here.
Honorable Christine talked about, but the Right Honorable Speaker clarified that one. On those, you wanted confirmation of termination. I can produce it. But they were terminated because administratively we have to take action. Once a complaint is raised, even without concrete evidence, I think it's best that somebody stands aside, even as investigations go on. Registration of children in primary schools, their names were issued, but most cards are not collected. We have a heap of cards, and I think we shall update the public on this subject, and also the subject of helping students who made errors. This is for Honorable Christine. Last, I want to answer Honorable Amera. I never clarified. Citizenship never expires. And evidence of citizenship is the NIN. Even with the tenure for the ID, the citizenship of a person doesn't expire. I want to thank you, Right Honorable members.
Honorable Kapulindi has some clarification.
Honorable Sewung also, ma'am, with your permission, wanted to ask.
Minister, arising out of his question that how do you tell that the error was made by the staff or the applicant? I escorted one friend to NILA, claiming that they had made a mistake so that he could not pay the 200. They went into their data and proved that it was him who had made a mistake. So they have those features that they capture.
Thank you. Honorable, by the person who filled the forms. Because if it was made by the NERA staff, why are you making them to pay the money?
Right Honorable Speaker, it depends on the nature of the error. It's apparent on the record, on the surface.
It could be a typo error. Masabo.
Those ones most likely are by NERA staff, Right
Yes.
Honorable Speaker.
So that's what he was saying, that the person was still made to pay the money. Anyway.
That was unfortunate for...
It is an agreed position. It is a position of government that registration is for free. Where there is an error that is made, a district or wherever the registration is taking place cannot be able to correct the errors. All the errors will be corrected at headquarters, and because they are the only ones who have the access rights for them to be able to correct those errors. And then there is a toll-free number that should be used by the public to ensure that we have a corruption-free system where people are extorted, where they extort money from, and the public is urged to report any attempts of extortion by either NERA staff or those who claim to be agents of NERA or anybody else, and an action will be taken. Next. 20 Parliament approved the creation of 15 new cities, which with the staggered timelines for commencement of 7 cities in July 2020 and others between 2021 and 2023. To date, only 10 cities out of the 15 cities have been operationalized. The Committee of Government Assurance and Implementation has inquired into this matter, and they are ready to report. And pursuant to Rule 1854, I will invite the chairperson of the committee to give us his report on this. And I'm also happy to note that the minister is around to respond to whatever is being raised.